Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070. Oversleepers, catch all the highlights on the latest audio podcast at CFAX1070.com and on the free iHeartRadio app.
It's Canada Day, lots going on, and as always, Victoria's Inner Harbor is a big center of activity, and the Mayor, Marianne Alto, is here to talk more about what is in store. Welcome. How are you today?
Oh, very well, thank you. And that's a great weather forecast for tomorrow. Really sounds perfect.
Well, you know what? I was thinking about that because, you don't want it to be necessarily super hot because then it gets to be a bit of an issue. People get, sunstroke and heat stroke and all that stuff. You also don't want it to be cold and rainy, but this is just kind of this nice. We've been using the word pleasant way too many times on the show today, but that's the word of the day.
It is a great word because having it, I think you said it was 18 to 20 degrees. That's just warm enough to be comfortable, but not so warm that you feel completely exhausted after just 5 minutes of being outside. So, and a little cloud is a good thing, keep you out of that sun there. And so, that sounds like a perfect day for tomorrow.
So much going on. And actually, let's talk about it. There's a lot happening in the Inner Harbor. We got the fireworks, of course, which is happening in the evening. But what else is leading up to that?
Right. It was a great day. And you know that we've talked about before, we're a bit frustrated that we didn't get any funding from the province. But despite that, we are putting a lot of time and an investment into it. And so tomorrow's going to be a great day. It's going to start at about 11. And, of course, we're going to have this really interesting opening with the Wangsheng Kung Fu Club. They're part of a national event where exactly the same time across the country, they're going to have a drumming demo, which is just fantastic. And then starting at just after that, starting at around 11:15, we're going to open a busking showcase. And all of this starts at Ship Point for the first afternoon, and then it's going to shift later on, which we'll talk about a bit. So at 11, we get busking showcase opens, and then all the food trucks start opening, which is also fantastic. And that's going to be all afternoon down at Ship Point. And then at 4:30, sort of go across the street onto the lawns of the legislature, where we'll have a bit of a welcome, of course. We'll start with some thoughts from our local nation leaders and the traditional dancers, the Lakwangan people, of course. A couple of comments from a few people like me and the MP and stuff like that. And then we're actually going to do something intriguingly unique for us here in Victoria. We're going to have a citizenship affirmation. And that's an opportunity for a whole bunch of people to, as a group, really celebrate the fact that they're becoming Canadian citizens, which does happen at quite a few different events, but it's the first time we've done it here, at least in a very long time. And then about 5:30-ish, we'll start the evening's entertainment lineup, and we've got 3 really different and interesting bands. We'll start off with Lingo, which you may know is a local band that's soul, funk, pop, rock, and R&B, that sort of stuff. And then we'll have a couple of sets from Butchin' Butchin', which is a Balkan brass band, super cool. And then a group called Covers in a Dangerous Time, which is a cover band, a live cover band, really eclectic sort of background and performances. And then around 9:10, 9:15, 9:20, sort of depends on how the other sets go. We're going to set up for a little bit for about an hour with a DJ, another really eclectic playlist. And then, of course, heading over towards the fireworks, which should start, depending upon the light and the wind and all that stuff, at about 10:20.
Okay. Man, that's a packed day.
It is. And the fireworks are going to be really cool this year. They're going to be, I think it's the largest one we've had since the 150th anniversary that we had. This is 159, so it's been quite a while. So we wanted to sort of, go out big because people seem to love fireworks. And so we were expecting a pretty decent crowd. And, of course, you'll want to get down there relatively early. And there's going to be lots to do all through the afternoon and evening, and very family-friendly, lots of stuff for kids to do, of course, and lots of amazing food trucks, my personal favorite. And just a really cool opportunity to get downtown and celebrate everything Canada Day and learn a bunch of stuff from a number of the speakers and performers and just have a really great word, pleasant but exciting day.
Well, you mentioned already a little bit, but you were frustrated that there wasn't the funding from other sources to help out with these fireworks, but council still decided to do this. Talk about that decision and why it was important to still dig deep and find a way to do this.
Yeah, you'll know that this year we're spending about half what we had in previous years, and part of that was just being responsible about wanting to make as many different good decisions about keeping our various tax rates down as low as we possibly could while still delivering good services. And this, although not a service in the same sense as the things that you would normally associate with, this is a really important thing for Canadians, and I think particularly these days when we're surrounded. Well, quite frankly, I think the best word to use is a lot of chaos. We really do want to make sure that we have a very robust celebration on July 1st It's a time for people to remember kind of who they are, why they live here, so how so many people have chosen to live here, and why they want to make sure that this is, a country that not just they're pleased to be here, proud to be here, but they're really attuned to why they're here and why they want to stay here and make it a great place, the great place that it is. So we wanted to invest wisely, but also invest sufficiently to make it a memorable day. And yeah, I mean, I don't want to spoil the excitement about tomorrow, but we were kind of frustrated that we couldn't get any contribution from the province, particularly because we're a capital city. And, we're one of the few provinces in the country that do not have provincial funding for their capital city to celebrate Canada Day. We know we're in Victoria, but we know that we draw lots and lots of people from the whole region and, frankly, from the whole province. And we often encounter people who are here as visitors from other parts of BC, and they come here specifically because they want to be in the capital city on Canada Day. And so, yeah, it was a bit of a sore point. And I will say, when I give kudos to the 4 MLAs who represent Victoria as a city, all 4 of them went to bat for us with their colleagues and weren't able to convince them. But we will continue to suggest that that's a wise move, and hopefully we'll be able to get some traction on that next year.
All right. But despite those challenges, the fireworks are on, all the other stuff you mentioned going on. One of the bigger, longer fireworks displays we've seen since the Canada 150. So that's kind of cool. It's going to be a big do. Yeah. The Inner Harbor is the place to be. Yeah. Now, one last thing. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I cut you off.
No, that's right. You're absolutely right. No, you're absolutely right. It's going to be a really exciting day. And I know I'm going to be out and about all afternoon and evening. And so I look forward to seeing everybody downtown tomorrow.
Yeah, one last thing. Just with that, logistical challenges, anything people should know about moving around downtown? What are you expecting there?
Yeah, for sure. There are going to be some road closures. So obviously, as you would expect, given what I've described, you won't be able to drive along Belleville Street in front of the legislature. You won't be able to drive right in front of the Empress, for sure. But around the rest of it, it will be congested because we do expect, as we have before, tens of thousands of people. So obviously, the best way down is either by bus or by bike or by foot. But there are, of course, parkades in the vicinity. There's the parkade by the library. There's certainly the ones that are down on Yate Street, et cetera, and a number of surface parking areas as well. But first choice obviously would be to take something that is more public transit oriented or something where you're on your own feet or on your own wheels. And either way you get downtown, it's going to be a great afternoon and evening.
Marianne Alto is the Mayor of Victoria. Canada Day is tomorrow, all culminating in that big fireworks display around about 10:20, give or take the conditions. And thanks so much for joining us today and talking to us about it.
Always a pleasure. We'll see you around tomorrow.